We got also a Blue Protocol update coming in from MMOByte. I want to know what up with that. Well, like some more information came out. Cause I think they're able to do like a dream or something today. Maybe I don't remember. Either way, let's see what
There are two different MMOs that are releasing this year that have the potential to truly succeed in any capacity, not by reinventing the wheel, rather by taking already established formulas and putting their own unique spin on them. These games are Blue Protocol and Throne and Liberty. Blue Protocol is an action combat anime MMO that began development under Bandai Namco back in 2019, possibly much earlier, with Amazon Game Studios confirmed to be publishing the title globally in late 2023. Ever since Amazon was confirmed to be global publisher, many interested players have been left wondering a plethora of different questions. Will the game be pay to win? What regions will be supported? Is it a PC exclusive release? How horrendous is the censorship going to be? When can you play the beta? That's what I'm here today to discuss. Everything you need to know about Blue Protocol going into 2023 ahead of its official release. Before we go any further though, I do want to take a moment here to thank every one of our patrons over on Patreon.
Yeah, because I know the beta got put back. I don't know if the actual
keep pushing
release
out video after video, and I deeply appreciate all of
your
your guys'
I think we only
support.
have like
also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream there every weekend. Blue Protocol is an anime MMORPG. It's labeled via various sources as a multiplayer online action role-playing game, minus the massive, but allows for up to 200 players to occupy an area concurrently. That doesn't fit the definition of an MMO for some people, sure, but that's more than enough for the rest of us. Yes, it is. The MMO is releasing in many countries around the world and will be fully free to play in every single one of them. Bandai Namco are publishing the game in Japan, Smilegate is confirmed to be publishing the game in South Korea, and Amazon Game Studios for much of the global market, all of which have confirmed that they have no intention of altering the game's business model.
I'm happy that
initially, Blue Protocol was confirmed to be in development for PC exclusively. After several years in development, Bandai Namco have confirmed a release on PC, with simultaneous releases on the PS5 and Xbox consoles. It is unconfirmed specifically what type of cross-platform functionality will be present, whether you can log in via your PC and your PS5 or
probably not going to be
any your Xbox. But the most important thing to note is that there is going to be no mobile functionality, even though they're missing out on an enormous market. Complete action combat. However, from my time spent in the closed beta, you also had the option to toggle a type of lock-on function as well, allowing players with significantly inferior reflexes and aim to not fall substantially behind those of you that are on the opposite spectrum.
Okay, so you can
combat will always be the superior option, especially with regards to casting and archer type classes. Prediction plays a large part in landing hits. This is more apparent when you factor in moving targets. Not quite. Much like Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, The Elder Scrolls Online, Blue Protocol does not have a fully seamless open world. Rather, the game utilizes a type of segregation separated by short loading screens. This means that to move from one city to the other, you're likely going to be required to move through a multitude of different loading screens, which doesn't mean that the zones themselves are small. On the contrary, many of the areas that I explored were so large that you didn't feel the impact of loading screens at all. But it does lessen to an extent the feeling you get of a truly freeing world without limitation. Yes,
we can call up on news,
beta,
Sam.
We had access to 4 classes: the Aegis Fighter, the Twin Striker, the Blast Archer, and the Spellcaster, with Bandai Namco confirming at a later date the introduction of the Heavy Smasher. The official global release will feature all 5 classes, albeit with different names. The Blade Warden replacing the Aegis Fighter, the Keen Strider replacing the Blast Archer, the Spell Weaver replacing the Spellcaster, the Twin Striker remaining the same, and the Foe Breaker replacing the Heavy Smasher. I'm honestly not entirely certain what prompted Amazon's alteration of the class names, but some of them sound absolutely ridiculous. Not to say that the originals were really much better. The class system lacks the Trinity system that is so often found within MMOs, meaning there is no symbiotic tank healer DPS relationship present. Instead, each player will be required to be self-sufficient.
Some
So
point of PSO.
if you die, it's because you screwed up, not because the healer didn't heal you. There is no dedicated healer, so
Yeah,
there will be
actually,
nobody to blame
the magic use on
other
it doesn't
than
look bad.
yourself.
Now that we actually seeing other gameplay,
Yes, thankfully, yes. This is not a gacha game. While it might have some gacha elements present, this is a far cry from a gacha game. Players will be able to choose their gender and craft their character from a predetermined number of facial and body sliders, customization options, hairstyles, colors, and the like, allowing you to live out your new fantasy life however you want.
not a question about subclasses though.
This is where
But I do
people
love
get
me some
quite
subclasses.
combative, arguing the fairness of the systems confirmed to be present in the Japanese version of the game. Blue Protocol is confirmed to have a season pass with separate rewards for both free and premium players. Free will feature a maximum of 60 slots, with premium totaling 100. Premium also gains 25 slots skipped for free. It is confirmed to have a gacha system present, but not for gear or for characters. Rather, the gacha feature is going to be purely cosmetic, offering chances at unique outfits, unique mounts.
So yeah, just straight
this
up
will be of
PSO
large
2
benefit to
version.
Bandai Namco, as
Now
players
you're
are
hoping
going
you
to
can't sell it
continue
on
to
the
roll to
market,
obtain the
or-
outfit purely for cosmetic bragging rights.
Or,
However, at the same time, they'll also be
find out in the
alienating
game as
those
well.
of us that typically support games by purchasing new mounts and new outfits in MMOs like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV,
Because honestly, if they, I feel like two things will come from that. Maybe this is just because of my relationship with PSO, but like I've talked about many times before, leave the whole season pass thing. Like, okay, whatever. Stop being cosmetic, whatever. The biggest thing will be for me will be just like in PSO is like, can you sell it on the market or not? If the cosmetic is exclusively to you, RNG or not RNG, buy it as a standalone, do not, whatever. I don't care at that point. Like, as long as it doesn't affect like the economy of the game, or as what I've been wanting forever in PSO, if it is sellable on the market, hopefully we can also farm it through normal game means as well. Cause man, God, it would suck if it goes the same way at PSO.
because we're used to that safety net, that guarantee that we'll receive
that market
what
part
we're
what
paying
make it
for the
so
$20
bad
or
in
$30
PSO.
single-time investment. There will be a consumable shop present where players are able to purchase items to increase the success rates when crafting items that will allow you to receive additional rewards from dungeons. Free players are limited to a certain number of these items, where premium players can obtain significantly more. There will also be items that will allow you to immediately complete quests to obtain the rewards without investing time into physically participating in them. Ultimately, this has fueled the discussion that the game is going to be very pay to win, and whether that is true or not is entirely dependent on your definition of pay to win. Will paying provide an advantage over non-paying players? Yes, definitely. Will it have a substantial effect on you,
I don't know how
though?
I feel about the quest part.
Not at all.
Actually, I feel pretty bad about that one.
Yes, it was already confirmed by Amazon themselves that the game is going to be altered to an extent to better suit the Western market. According to the studio, there will be a few minor differences between the Japanese and Western versions of Blue Protocol. The main reason for this is that we're aiming for a teen rating for our market so that Blue Protocol becomes a title that our friends and family can play together. For reference, Japan does not have a teen rating and can potentially feature more revealing outfits, uncut dialogue, and entire scenes that are either taken out or altered to the point where it's unrecognizable in the global version. We've seen the types of censorship Amazon engages in personally with Lost Ark, as has been repeatedly discussed and showcased online. A question I hear repeatedly echoed throughout the community is exactly how massive the game is going to be. Blue Protocol uses a type of channel system much like the vast majority of MMOs out there. Each channel has a set number of players able to exist concurrently within it before new players are sent to a new instance of the same area. Max capacity differs between types of zones. Cities and towns have a maximum number of 200 people allowed concurrently before new instances are created. Out in the field, outside of towns and cities, the maximum is up to 30 players. Dungeons and arenas are limited to 6 people, with dungeons actually scaling in difficulty depending on how many players are in your group.
Okay, man, yeah, they got a lot of parallel with PSO. Like, a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, PSO is 32, well, this is 30. Can we all play in Japanese, too? Hopefully it won't be no, like, need for, like, VPNs or anything. Hopefully. Hopefully there's just one of them cases of just, like, download the client in Japanese and off you go type of deal.
Raids have a limit of 30 people, but a maximum of 30 players isn't required, much like how WoW allows raid groups of different sizes. And finally, there will be solo exclusive content like time attack and score attack. One of the most common misconceptions about Blue Protocol is that it's your average MMO. You run dungeons, dungeon bosses drop gear, then you run raids, raid bosses drop gear, rinse and repeat. That is not the case. All gear in this game is crafted, meaning bosses don't drop gear. Bosses drop materials, and after acquiring a set number of items, you can craft your gear. As loot is completely RNG, this means that someone could obtain the...
Okay, my only thing is, hopefully they have, like, loot tables. But right now, it's sounding like kind of like how Monster Hunter does loot drops.
The materials necessary to craft our best in slot weapon in 10 runs, where it could take you 30 runs to craft. Which is where the discussion of pay to win comes in once again, since paying players can acquire additional loot that free players just won't have access to in the same number of runs.
So wait a minute, if that's the case, is it gonna be like you get premium? Be like free to play player only get 10 items per one, or like premium will get like 30. So in return, the more loot you get, the higher chance that you are to get, said item.
This means that you'll never be grinding mindlessly though for a single piece of gear. Instead, you'll be grinding to obtain the missing materials, many of which I'm assuming are going to be required for various different gear pieces. This makes the grind much more rewarding since you're technically grinding towards acquiring multiple pieces at once.
Yeah, that literally, like, once again, it could go really bad since it's everything. But this is kind of like the stuff I've been talking about for, like, the way, like, Zig Shot worked, or what the Resale Shot was in PSO. So hopefully it don't get to that degree of insanity, and if it does, hopefully there's multiple content to do to get said items. But this is like one of those systems I'm not totally against, but at the same time, I'm not gonna put a lot of hope into it till we actually see it in practice.
While confirmed supported languages for Global include English, French, German, Spanish, and Brazilian Portuguese, global regions will consist of North America, South America, Western Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. A confirmed English dub will be available, with Amazon opting to not elaborate on whether the official Japanese dub will be an available option. Within Asia, the game has a confirmed South Korean release,
to be honest.
With most of Southeast Asia suffering from IP blocks, and potentially European regions that have laws and regulations banning video games with gacha, unfortunately. Originally, a final Japanese closed beta was slated for January 14th through January 16th, 2023. However, due to some pretty severe complications, the Japanese beta test was delayed until sometime in March 2023. This is a delay of 2 whole months and could potentially affect the release date Bandai Namco are aiming for.
Yeah, that's
no
my
confirmed closed beta has been scheduled for the global version of the game, but one would expect it would come after Japan has, at the very least, finalized a version of the game to allow for Amazon to use. Spring 2023 in Japan, and while a little more vague, the second half of 2023 for global. This could be anywhere from July through December, which means that if we were to receive a closed beta for the game, it would likely also take place at some point in the latter half of 2023. Note that this is not factoring in current delays or future delays, which both Bandai Namco and Amazon are quite notorious for. And admittedly, I think that's pretty much it. That covers everything that I think is worth knowing
2024.
Moving into
Got it.
2023. It's Japanese beta, it's Japanese launch, and further it's global beta and it's global launch. If there's anything you think I missed or anything further you'd like covered, let me know down in the comments and I'll try my best to help. Blue Protocol is an MMO that I have been promoting for years now, since 2019 when it was first announced, and I cannot be more excited even despite disagreeing with certain aspects of it. Now, If this isn't something you'd be interested in, no problem. I urge you to check out one of these 2 videos on screen right.
So yeah, if it does end up being like very much a separation between global and Japan, and if it's gonna be free to play in all regions, we might have to, chat. We might have to jump into the Japanese version, bank. Cause yeah, with it being like so much farther apart from JP originally, not counting the new like beta delay, like we could not see it to like beginning of 24 in the West. So yeah, I guess we will keep an eye on it. We will see what happens. We will see if we if it is a quick release, or maybe we will treat it as we did PSO2 when it came out. Well, we played PSO2 for a little bit before the global release, and then when global came out, just fully move into global. So we might do that again for this, because I do want to try protocol, because a lot of it I am very interested in, and also a lot of it like very similar to PSO, and I'm wondering how much of it actually can be done better. Hopefully better. But we will see. We will see, chat. But here you go. Here's the video for you guys who want it. And we will see what actually comes of this.